Okay, so thank you again for coming to the success lecture. And today I'm going to start with a quote, and I'll do a recap of the first lecture, the work that we've done earlier. And I'll talk about emotions, again about emotional intelligence, and later I'll say how do we start this course, and then talk again about brain rewiring, the exercise of my emotions today, and then some developmental projects. So this is the quote that I have. Have you heard of Lao Tzu? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name correctly because it's pronounced in many ways, but he's a philosopher. Now, although he lived a few hundred years ago, number of hundred years ago, he said something that is very profound. He said, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Now, I find this extremely profound. So if you look at from the back, we all want to have a great destiny. We want to be in control of our destiny. And if destiny is told by who we are, by our character, then we see the character is a combination of habits that we have done, we have developed over and cultivated over a number of years. You see our habits. If my habit is to work hard, or to be late, or to leave things to the last minute, or to talk a lot, or not to talk at all, or whatever, all these are habits. And how does a habit develop? It's by repeating an action a number of times, then a habit is going to develop. So this is very similar to the brain rewiring that we are talking about. But the even more profound thing is how the habits are related to our thoughts and to our words. And this is very, very similar to what we have spoken about, outlawing the P word, and also having positive thoughts through the appreciation and through the daily gratitude that we are hoping to inculcate. So I thought this is a good way to start maybe today's lecture. Now, in the first lecture, we talked about CDIO, and we say CDIO is to conceive, design, implement, and operate, and how conceiving starts in the brain, and everything that we see today, the pyramids, the Great Wall of China, the computer, the table that you are using, everything that we have started as a thought at the conceiving level. And then we talked about the three parts of the brain. So we had the reptilian brain, or the old brain, and the middle brain, and the new brain. And we said that the new brain, where the high-level reasoning and language take place, emotions are felt in the middle brain, and the reptilian brain, where the fight or flight instinct things are hardwired there. Now, the thing that I would like to repeat and emphasize, that when we say that emotions are in the middle brain, it doesn't mean the new brain has nothing to do with emotions. As a matter of fact, emotions are processed in the new brain as well, but they are felt there. They start there. So the three parts of the brain work together. So that's an extremely important thing that I want to make sure that we all understand and keep in our mind. Now, the interesting thing is we can actually fool the brain easily. Now, you go to a scary movie, you know for sure that it's just a movie. Yet, you feel scared. or you watch a sad movie, or you read a sad story, and you feel sad. While you know this is just fiction, this is not necessarily true. And that's an important trait of the brain, that we can actually fool it. And I'm going to talk to you about how we use this to a good cause. Now, the concept of neuroplasticity is a relatively new concept in neurology. So I think we've talked about this, but let's again emphasize it. Science used to believe that after a certain age, the brain stops growing. Now we know for sure that even at advanced age, at the golden years, people at 60s and 70s, they still generate new neurons and new connections, which indicate that changing of habits, learning is possible at all stages. And I think for you guys to live at a time and era where this knowledge is available is extremely exciting and important. So if the brain can always be reshaped, we can mold it in whatever way we want, this should be something very interesting to you, or at least I hope so. So how do we influence the way the brain changes and shapes itself? How do we do that? That's a question. Can anyone help me, please, with an answer? Based on what we have been saying now, thus far? What do you think?
What's the question again?
Okay, I'll repeat the question. So the knowledge that we have now says we could reshape our brain. By shaping our brain means we could create new neurons, we could create new connections in our brain that will generate. So for example, if I have a habit, how does the habit form? I repeat something continuously until it becomes a habit. I actually don't even know that I'm doing it. So there are people who would repeat a certain word 100 times a minute without them noticing that they do that. And this is a habit. There's people who keep on playing with their hair. This is a habit. How does this thing happen? You do it once, do it twice, you feel good. Then after that, it becomes quite difficult to kick it. But the knowledge that we have now says we do have the ability to generate new habits and kick old habits, create. So literally, we are reforming, rewiring our brain. So how do we do that? How do we influence the process of the change in the brain? That's the question.
It's exactly like you said in the quote. You just start with your thought process, and then after that, you put your thoughts into action or into words, and you start doing it. It just becomes a habit. Or you could just involve yourself in like a completely different situation, and at first it might feel uncomfortable and out of your norm, but then after a while it becomes normal. And yeah.
Exactly. So for those who did not hear, I'm going to repeat, and you correct me if I'm wrong. So you say we can do the brain rewiring, for example, by remembering the 5 things that we are grateful for, by mentioning our emotions, or even by putting ourselves in positions, in situations where maybe we are not that comfortable, and then through that we learn and we shape our brain. Now, the key thing that this course is offering is really an opportunity for you to have a plan of what kind of brain you would like to have. So you could have a plan that by the end of the course, I would like to have this kind of brain. I would like to have these kind of traits and habits. And then you work on them on a daily and a weekly basis. Now, I want to tell you a story, and this is actually a real story about a man. In the literature, he's identified as Eliot. So this is just not even his real name. So Eliot was a very successful business executive, and he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So the brain tumor wasn't malignant, wasn't cancerous, but nonetheless, it needed to be removed. So there was an operation, and after the operation, the doctors were very pleased that his cognitive capabilities, his thinking capabilities were not affected. So he healed well, he went back to his normal life, but there were some changes in him. He became a different person. That led to him losing his job, and his wife also left him. So one day he decided to go back to the doctor, and he said, look, I want you to help me. Let's see what we can do about that. So the doctors say, look, we need to have some more tests, and I would like you to come next week. When can you come? And this is a real story. So this guy took out his diary, and he started telling the doctor, look, if I come at 8 a.m., these are the pros and these are the cons. So maybe there will be traffic jam, but the weather will be good. If I come at 9 o'clock, these are the pros and these are the cons. If I come at 10, and he can literally, in a very rational manner, tell the doctor all the pros and cons for each specific time in the day. But he is unable to say, and I will come at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. He is unable to tell that. And that was really revealing. He became extremely indecisive. Now, this was a pivotal moment in neurology, because up to that moment, the thinking, the prevailing thinking was, we would like to be rational beings. But emotions are something that stop us from taking rational decisions. So the more we subdue our emotions, the more we take emotions out of the way, the better people we will be, because we will be rational individuals. Now, that was the moment through Eliot when we realized that emotions actually do play an important role in our decision-making process. So otherwise, we will become like a computer where we need to look at all of the options, and then we weigh them one against the other. And when we have 2 or 3 options that they are exactly the same in terms of pros and cons, then we will have a difficult time deciding. Now, if you think of life, it's actually a series of decisions. From the moment you wake up to the moment you take your shower, brush your teeth, what shirt to wear, what shoe to wear, where to park your car, which way to take, what speed you drive with, and all these kind of things. You just imagine if you had to go through the pros and cons of each and everything before you actually make decision. I think life is going to be very, very difficult. So that's what has happened to Eliot. The doctors realized that he lost the ability to process his emotions. So become disconnected. People don't understand him. Why does he behave in that way? This is a real case. You could actually go and read about it, and everything, including an image of his brain, is available on the internet. So this is something that I felt is necessary to actually share with you as well. Now, emotions are what sets us in motion. And that's why the name. So it's something that starts a chain of events into us. And they are not bad, and they are not something that we would like to get rid of or subdue. They are there. Now, I want you to also agree with me that all emotions are okay. The negative ones, the positive ones, all of them are fine. All of them are okay. The only thing that can be either okay or not okay is actually the behavior that happens after an emotion. So I want you to start thinking of the emotion, which is a natural thing in each and every one of us, and the behavior that will set us in motion after the emotion takes place. I want you to differentiate that some behaviors are acceptable, they are fine, they are reasonable, some are actually not. And regulating our behavior is called emotional intelligence. So if we feel sad, how would we behave? That is emotional, or at least part of the emotional intelligence. Now that awareness is extremely important, and I'll continue repeating that, and the exercises that you'll be doing daily will also help you achieve that end as well. Now let's have an example. So let's say you are queuing to pay at the supermarket counter. So you are queuing and you are also in a hurry. Someone comes and cuts the queue, just go ahead of you, and he or she wants to pay. What will you do? You try to put yourself in that position and really tell me, what will you do? Since the mic is there, maybe you could just say, yeah.
I would tell him politely that you cut my queue.
Politely?
Politely, or just shout at him. Either one.
You could shout at him, right? Because maybe you are in a hurry and say, look, we are also queuing. Just go back, right? Yeah. So that's one way of doing it. Now I want you to try to imagine and stay with me. What did you feel?
Angry.
You felt angry. So anger is an emotion. And anger is okay. It's okay for you to feel angry. That's fine. Now, what I want you from now on is to, before you shout or even talk politely, if possible. Now, this is quite challenging, but I hope that by the end of the semester, we will be able to achieve this. You stop and notice what's happening, and you just tell yourself, take a deep breath and say, I am angry. Tell yourself. Because you need to be aware. That's the key. You may be frustrated. Now, that awareness and that split-second kind of delay will help you to at least regulate your behavior. You may still want to be angry. That's your choice. So if we can create that appraisal moment, assessment moment, at the moment where the emotion appeared. Now this emotion, the emotion is a very interesting thing. It could actually take a single second. And the same person could smile at you, or you look at you and you realize that he's your friend, or she's a movie star, where you say, yeah, please go ahead. And the same emotion will become, within a split second, a different emotion. What I want you to try to do is to be aware. So you say, okay, I'm going to be angry, but let me just take a deep breath and say, I am angry. Now, why the My Emotions Today exercise is important, because I want you to have an array of words, adjectives, to describe your emotions. It cannot be everything you are angry. You could be frustrated, you could feel insulted, you could feel whatever. The more accurate is your assessment, the better the way you will be able to regulate your emotions. So first, I want you to, before you shoot, I want you to try to, I am angry. Then you do whatever you want. But let us try to work on that. So you see, this course is not about just, I have to wait and wait for half a second and take a breath and then I do. No, it's about acting what skills you learn. It's just like swimming, learning how to swim. I cannot just put you here and say, move the right arm with 30 degrees and with that speed, and when the right arm moves at the same time, you kick your left leg. It doesn't work like that. I could get you to memorize it beautifully and I throw you in the lake and you will sink. Right? So this is that's actually even more difficult than learning how to swim. But believe me, it's such an important skill. You recall from lecture 1, the research shows that 80% of people's success depends on their emotional intelligence. The IQ predicts success only to 20% of the time. And because today what we need are people who are able to work with other people who other people would love to work with them. These are the skills that we need today. These are the skills that employers are looking for. And you just imagine an emotionally intelligent, capable engineer, an emotionally intelligent, brilliant doctor, an emotionally intelligent, fantastic lawyer. These are things that can actually be very, very powerful combination. So this is emotional intelligence. And if you recall, I talked about the Daniel Goleman emotional intelligence book. I highly recommend this. So this will be throughout the course. You could consider it our textbook. So the models that I'm getting is from him. And I've shown this last lecture, and I would like you to, it would be good if you even print it on a t-shirt, to keep on reminding ourselves. So first we start with the self-awareness. We need to be aware of our emotions and be able to accurately assess ourselves, be able to motivate ourselves, and be self-confident. So this is all within me, within the I. Once I have the self-awareness, I now can have better self-management. So self-management is emotional self-control. How do I control myself? Transparency, adaptability, achievement orientation, initiative, and optimism. Now, all these things within this quadrant, we are going to talk about them in details as the course goes by. But the key thing that I want you to know that first you need the awareness. If you don't know that you are angry, at that moment, there's no way you can regulate your behavior because you don't know. Emotion has taken over you. Then you may do something that you will regret. So that's the key. How can we make sure that we don't do something that we will eventually regret? Now, once we have the self-awareness, which is about me, how do I feel now, then I'll be able to have the social awareness, which is how am I affecting you? How am I affecting the people around me, and how the people around me are impacting me? So now I'm aware of myself. I can regulate and control, hopefully, my behaviors and myself. And I'm also aware that whatever I say, whatever I do, my body language will have an impact on the people around me, and how the people around me behave, talk, move, respond will impact me as well. So it's a two-way kind of relationship. Once I have the social awareness and I'm able to control myself, then I could actually now sort of manage my relationship with the people around me. You are very important to me as my students. Your success is extremely important to me. So how do I pace my relationship with you so that I could use my influence, if any, to actually help you achieve the best that you can achieve? But I need to be first aware of myself. I need to be aware of how I could influence you. I need to be aware of how you could influence me as well. And I need to be able to control the way I carry out myself. Only then I hopefully have a very good relationship with you. So this is extremely important. Now, the same context, the same model could be applied for your relationship with your friends, with your partners, with your family. You could deploy this in whatever way you wish. So the key thing is to know that it starts always with awareness, moves after this to how do I control and manage myself, then the social awareness, and eventually will result with a good, hopefully, relationship management. Now, relationship management is extremely important. In psychology, happiness at time is defined as the quality of the relationships that we have. So happiness beyond a certain level is not about money, is not about the car that you have, is about, do people like you? Are you living with people that you like? Are you spending your time with people that you enjoy being around? When you are around, do people enjoy you being around? That's eventually what creates and makes happiness, at least from a certain point of view. And this is extremely important because we are saying this is also what you need for success. So if this is good for health, because this is also shown, if you have good relationships, if you are supported, then your immune system will be better, your stress level will be lower, so your health will be better, you will be having enjoyable environments, relationships that are good. You are good to people, people good to you, people would like to spend time with you, you are with people that you are happy to spend time with. This is great. This is happiness. And that's what we would like to hopefully achieve. So now I would like to emphasize again what we have talked about. The daily exercises are extremely important. So this is something that you need to do on a daily basis. And believe me, I watch open learning very closely. So I hope to see you more often. Okay? I would like you, when register, to put your picture as well. Yes. So a profile picture will allow, yes, the face. Yeah, just the face. Yes. Yeah, it will allow other people to put a face to the name, and also if if any one of us still don't remember the name, at least we see that, oh, this is one of us anyway. So these are the daily exercises that I would like to emphasize again and again, and I'm going to watch them very, very closely. There is a possibility that I will grant some marks based on the karma points. So make sure that you put interesting posts that people will like. Yeah. Now when you go and have a look at open learning, you will see that you can post a video, you could post a picture, You could post words. It's entirely up to you. You just be authentic. Be yourself. You don't necessarily need to follow. But there are very interesting revelations, learning about people's self. And I would like you to actually have a look at that. We agreed to replace the P word. So who's our opportunity treasurer? Cash. Have we made any money? No. Meaning? Oh, you have mentioned the P word how many times? 64 times. So you are the only one. So are you the only one, or are you the only honest one? Okay, so now I close my eyes. Those who have mentioned the P word, just raise your hand. Okay. So will you be paying him? So will you be paying him? Okay, so some money will be coming, maybe after the class. This is, okay, we'll take your money first. Oh, you are willing to pay the opportunity note. You don't want to pay real money. Okay, so you are willing to lose the opportunity. Okay, is that how much you evaluate that note that I've given you? Thank you very much. For your honesty. Yes, I think honesty is a very good trait. I appreciate that. So we wanted to replace the P word again. I will never be able to actually watch you doing that. But believe me, magic will happen. If you want good thing to happen to you, this is the only way. Now, brain rewiring is a daily exercise, and I would like you to do it on a daily basis. Make it a ritual. So there are people who will do it in the morning. There are people who will do it at night. So make it a ritual that at a certain point in time, you will go to Open Learning, do maybe the brain rewiring and my emotions today. So first step towards self-awareness is for you to describe your emotions on a daily basis. And I've provided a framework, and I promised to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it after this. Meditation, interestingly, also creates awareness. You will quickly feel aware of the sea of emotions that is within each and every one of us every moment in time. And if we have time, I'm going to introduce this to you guys. Now, for the opportunities and challenges, this is actually a question that was raised by an online student. What if I say no this? And my suggestion is, because the brain, or the part at least of the brain that we are working with, does not process negatives. So for example, if I say now, do not think of a dog. What came to your mind? A dog. Okay, do not think of a car. I bet there is a car picture in you. Don't think of any car unless it's a red car. Don't think of a red car. I'm sure there is a red car now. Now, if you say no this, you still have that P word there. So if someone say, can you do this for me? Say, yes. So if you want to say no, then that's okay. But if you say, okay, so can you do that? And you want to say that's no issue or no worries, or you could just use any word, or just say, yes, I'll do it happily. So I suggest that this P word is totally removed from your dictionary, even when you use it in a negative form, because no dog is a dog, and no car is a car. So this is, again, my proposal to you, because there's no way that I'm going to watch you throughout your life. But I hope that you will start to pay attention to the way you think, to the way things go into your head. Now, in brain rewiring, we talked about this. Every time, because the brain has certain traits in it, and it's wired in a way to respond to negative kind of stimuli. So brain rewiring will help us create the new connections that are looking for the positive things. So for example, can I, instead of catching people doing something wrong, think of catching them doing something right? And instead of thinking that this guy came late, I be appreciative with the fact that he showed up in the first place. So, you know, it's actually totally different. So I would like you to keep on thinking positively. And again, believe me, the fact that I have two eyes and I can walk and I can talk, things should not be taken for granted, because people could lose even these things in an instant. So these are the things that we need to be appreciative about. And same goes to the fact that we have food, the fact that we have friends, the fact that we have access to education and things like that. So this is an example of brain rewiring. I think I've shown you this earlier. This is an hour ago. So this from Jill Alexander. And she opted to actually put a picture that she has drawn as well. So that's her choice. And I think that's a wonderful, she's a wonderful member of our online community. My emotions today, I'll spend a bit more time on this because maybe it's a bit more difficult to put our hands on our emotions compared to even finding things that are positive that we are grateful for. So I want you to have a non-reactive, non-judgmental attention to your inner state. So you don't need to feel good or bad about it. If you feel angry, if you feel down, if you feel betrayed, I want you to just be aware of this. You see, unlike the brain rewiring, which is about look for something positive, in my emotions is just about assessment. I want you to accurately assess yourself. So you don't say, I feel down and I'm feeling bad about that and I think I'm a bad person. That's wrong. I want you to say, I feel jealous. I feel hatred, if there is any. Or I feel happy, I feel elated. Is entirely up to you. The key thing is you need to describe your emotional state, your inner state, at that point in time. Now, I suggest that we do to have a more complete description of where we stand now, to use this framework. So it's MER-SVP. So it stands for mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, vocationally, and physically. So I'm going to talk about each one of these in details. Mentally refers to the mind, the intellect. So mentally, how do you feel today? Now, I was thinking of giving you a list of adjectives to describe that. But over the past 2 weeks, there is a wealth of people who have described their emotions, and I find it really, really enriching. If you are unable to describe your mental state, you could always go and have a look at what other people have written. But things like sharp, if you feel sharp, dull, if you feel mentally dull now, if you feel slow, if you feel excited, all these are adjectives that could describe your mental state. It could be bored. You are having a lecture and you feel bored. You could actually feel engaged at a certain time when maybe there is a joke. So it depends. And these mental states could actually change. Emotionally is about your affective, emotional consciousness kind of state. So this could be happy, frustrated, you feel betrayed, you feel void, you feel whatever you are feeling. Again, in the beginning, it may feel extremely difficult. You just don't have a word to describe where do you stand. But as you move on, as you see what other people are saying, you will slowly have the language to describe. This is just like you are learning a new language. But the moment you learn it, you've just learned it. And you'll be able, at any moment in time, to describe your emotional state. Now, relationally refers to the quality and nature of the relations with the people around you, with the people who are important to you. So you could feel relationally connected, you could feel supported, you could feel betrayed, you could feel rejected, you could, whatever you have feeling at that time, you just anchor it, you just capture it and be aware of it. Now if you recall, we said all emotions are fine, but the awareness will allow us to regulate our behavior, our action, and that's the very important part. Spiritually doesn't necessarily refer to a religious connotation, although it may. So the way I define it is your connection with some bigger aim, for some bigger meaning, that for having a bigger goal, reason for existence. So people could be anchored, so they are spiritually anchored. They could be spiritually believing. They could be spiritually searching. They could be spiritually curious. And I want you to start that journey. So this has nothing to do with the religious affiliation, although it may be. So that's a choice that you'll make. So this is here is a very secular kind of terminology, but it's entirely up to you if you would like to link it to your religious belief. That's entirely up to you. That's your choice. Now, vocationally will refer to your job, your career, and also your studies, because you guys are still students. So do you feel vocationally challenged? The fact that you guys are starting university and maybe there is some different expectations from you and you feel challenged, or maybe you feel excited. That's your choice. Or maybe you feel threatened. These are all your choices. And these are some of the examples that you may opt to use. Physically, literally refers to your body, your health. So again, people could feel light, could feel heavy, could feel aching, could feel tired, could feel sleepy, could feel hungry. That's entirely up to you. That's a feeling, and we just want to honor it and be aware of it. Now, when you describe your emotions and your inner state, I would like you to avoid words like good, fine, okay. How are you? Okay. What does that mean? Okay. Yeah. Dig deeper. You will find a word that describes you. Again, it's expected to be difficult, awkward in the beginning, but believe me, you will find it extremely satisfying when you reach. And you need to acknowledge your emotion, positive or not positive. That's irrelevant. I don't want you to just report the positive ones. You need to report the not so positive ones as well. Be authentic. just describe them as raw as they are. This is an example. Phoenix Lum is, again, students who have been following me through the MOOCs. And he say he's mentally awaiting, physically tiring, spiritually believing, emotionally relaxing, relationally connecting, vocationally promoting. And he says, I feel my feelings. Now, if you go and watch the way he reports his feeling, he will say, every day he will say something like that. That's his tagline. So there's, I honor my feeling. I love my feeling. I acknowledge my feelings. So I think, and this is a message to him as well, we would like this tagline to be on a daily basis, and hopefully we have a new one every day. As a matter of fact, I'm working with him now on a project whereby every student on the emotional intelligence course is to prepare maybe a 3-minute presentation by the end of the course to tell us the one single thing that he or she would like to share with the world. And we will have maybe a conference here where you guys are going to present that. So this is a project that I'm having with Phoenix currently. Now, as I told you, this is something like learning how to swim. So you will, on an everyday basis, do brain rewiring. On an everyday basis, you'll be reporting your emotions. And we will have a number of projects that I will work very closely with you on. So the first one, which maybe we'll do either next week or the following week, would be the self-analysis. Because the accurate self-assessment is a cornerstone of self-awareness. So this is the part where we will work with you so that you could identify your strengths, your growth areas, the opportunities, and the challenges that you are facing. So this is going to be kind of drilling, digging kind of session, and I'll get some people also to help me so that every one of you come with this self-analysis and assessment. Based on that, we will work with you to prepare a professional development plan. So when you identify your growth areas, which is actually a positive term to weaknesses, you know, some people, when they do this, they call it strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But I opted to remove both the weaknesses and the threats. So the threat, I call it challenges, and the weaknesses, I call it areas of growth. So we will be working with you on your strengths, areas of growth, challenges, and opportunities that you are having. And hopefully we will develop a plan that you'll work on throughout the semester. We will try to create some goals that you guys would like to work on. So that's the goal setting part. Now, relationship management is where I would like you to identify a relationship that you would like to improve. Now, the relationship could be now not so good and you want to make it great. It could be great and you want to make it to a new level. That's entirely up to you. So every one of you will identify. So please start thinking now of what relationship you will be working on. Could be a relationship with a friend, a family member, a brother, a teacher, is entirely up to you. But what we would like to do is all the techniques that we have developed for you to actively use them to improve a relationship that is meaningful to you. And the last part is what I've just told you, where you will need to pick a key learning that you would like to share with the rest of the world and generate that wonderful video that I hope I'll use next time when I teach this course again. Okay, so before we move to the reflection questions, I have something to show you. So we have in the last class we show you the human brain, but unfortunately this is a dead brain. So today we would like to have an exercise whereby we show you what's actually really going on into the human brain. And I need a volunteer. You got the drill, Mike? The drill? You got the drill, okay. I need a volunteer. The least hair. Yeah, because you see, we need excess. No, I'm serious, yeah. Okay, come. This is an EEG reader. So we'll read his brain. Yes, good. Just sit down. Yeah. You would like the other one, the invasive one? I have one that I need to make some holes and read the. Okay. When this starts reading, which is now, these points need to start lit. So there's no signal. Are you alive? Oh, what did you just do?
Looked at Farah.
Don't. Now the very interesting one is the meditation part. That's really part where it's quite difficult to influence, but with training we could actually start to be able to influence that that graph as well. Now what I would like to do next is to start a meditation session. Yes. Who said what? You said that. Yeah. Are you looking forward to this? Not really. But you haven't tried it. I mean, you keep it. Yes. Right. You could. You see, the meditation is really when you become good at it. Then you could have that awareness of where do you stand now, and you could have your focus even in a very noisy place. So it's like a sport. You need to continue doing it, and then. So let's actually try a session today. If you guys like it, we can make it a part of our class. If you don't like it, I won't repeat it again. Now, interestingly, I have an audio where all of us can listen to, and it's by Daniel Goleman himself. So he will guide us through that, and I hope that you just follow and don't look there, because I will ask everyone to keep quiet as well. Okay, so I want you to relax, please. Sit. Please turn off your mobile phones. Put them away, and try to put yourself in the most comfortable way you could. So you just adjust yourself, and you just trust me. Just trust me. This is gonna be good. I also would like you to please follow the instructions as they flow in. Okay? Feel comfortable as you could. Just your seat the way you are seated, and most importantly, don't allow the electronic devices to affect you. Okay? Are we ready?
Of course, it goes without saying that if you're driving, you shouldn't close your eyes or even try to meditate at all.
So close your eyes.
Okay. With your eyes closed, let's begin. Start by bringing your awareness to your breathing.
How was it? Sleepy. What was it?
Relaxing.
Relaxing. Okay. Can some of you just describe the experience? What if you felt peaceful, right? Relaxed. Quiet.
It's still.
Sorry. Can we just capture those? Yes. Please think of if you have something to share. This is an exercise for you to capture what you have felt. I'm sure you felt something. Yeah.
I felt quiet, like still, and can really appreciate that I can breathe. My breathing is okay, and it's still and quiet. So I've never been there.
Great. So you felt still, quiet, and appreciative. Great. Wonderful. Anyone else would like to share with us? Please.
Felt at ease, like nothing else mattered in the world except for breathing at that moment. I just felt good being in the moment,
Great.
not worrying about anything else.
Great. Thanks. Felt at ease and nothing else have mattered at that moment. Now, these are extremely important states. And just imagine if through exercise you could easily put yourself into that. You know, those experienced meditators, actually, they could do the meditation without even listening to anything. They could do it on their own. They could easily put themselves in that meditative state. Anyone else would like to say anything? Here, please. Yeah, please.
I felt as if I've regained, after I opened my eyes, I felt as if I regained my footing, in a sense that I feel as if now I know what is important, what I'm supposed to do, just to regain my footing again, and just to know why I'm here and what I'm doing.
Great.
And what I'm supposed to do.
So he said, for those who didn't hear him, he regained his footing. These are very, very important and very insightful emotions. And to be able to put words to them is anchoring them. Anyone else, maybe one more, who would like to share with us how did he or she felt? Now, whether you want to share or not, I just want you to take a moment and appraise, evaluate your feelings, and just tell it to yourself. You don't have to tell it to all of us. You just say, what did you feel? Just capture that, and if it was good, you savor it. You capture it, and keep it with you. Thank you very much. So I'll remove that. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. So just to share with you, actually, the meditative graph has moved a little bit when you were meditating, a little bit. So that's actually an indication that you have managed at least to. This is we've tried this before with Mike and myself. We managed to move the other two lines, but the meditative graph was almost impossible to move. But in your case, it has moved a notch up and down. So this is a very good indication. Thanks. Thank you. Mike, are we having the Twitter? No. Sorry? Right. How many of you is registered for Twitter? Okay. So I have an experiment, because I've noticed that some of you guys, maybe you don't feel that forthcoming when we ask you to talk about yourself, your feelings. So I was thinking if we create a hashtag, and then you could tell us how do you feel through that, and then we could just see it through. So FIE tailors, I would like you to, those who are registered, to just tell us, what did you learn today? What will you do differently from now on? Yes, now, please, yes, yeah. And that will be the last thing we will do today. Now, if you like the meditation, you blog about it on Open Learning, and then maybe we'll do it again. Yeah. If you didn't like it, also let us know. But what have you learned today? What do you plan to do differently? And just if you are registered to Twitter, let's do it through Twitter. I'm actually contemplating to keep this. Good. So I was thinking of actually having this as another channel and keep it open throughout the lecture. Well, I'm just still exploring. Yes. What do we have on Twitter? You could just register. Yeah. No. Twitter has nothing to do with Open Learning. Twitter is just like Facebook. Is another social media kind of thing, but it's very quick messages, short ones, limited in the length, and this is one way to use them. So if you don't have Twitter, you don't have to worry, but maybe if this is going to be enjoyable, then you guys may consider having a Twitter account, and then we could, yeah. Is anyone else saying anything? Okay, great. So with this, I thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.